Hey guys, I'm Natalie. If you don't know me, I'm currently living in Oklahoma, originally from New Jersey. I have been putting off this story for way too long, but the story has gotten more interesting. So what better time than when I got some juicy details, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna disclaim real quick that if you are triggered by stories about blood or pregnancy issues, this might not be the video for you, but if that sounds good to you, then we're gonna talk, and it might be, I don't know, there might be a moment or two of TMI, but I'm just gonna disclaim that. I'm gonna try not to, keep it PG, I guess. It's not even PG, just like keep it friendly. So yes, I have a couple medical issues. A lot of people know about it. I'm not like secretive about it. I mean, I'm here talking about it, So I have a blood disorder. I have thrombocytopenia. At first they named it thrombocytopenia, but it just got clarified, I guess, as idiopathic thrombocytopenia purpura. That's what it's called, ITP. That's what I have. Got a bone marrow biopsy to confirm that, there wasn't another root of the problem. If you want to ask me a question about bone marrow biopsy, if you want me to talk about that, let me know. But yes, so I have ITP. I've had it for about 6 years. I was literally dating my husband for like 5 months, and we were just hanging out in the emergency room, and little did we know that was just gonna be a little printed preview of what our whole relationship would look like. I spend too much time at the doctors in the hospital, more than I am happy to admit, but I am very thankful to be insured. Thank you, Jesus, because honey, I can't imagine how many bills I've done racked up. Anywho, so enough about that. I have a platelet disorder. My platelets are always low. Honestly, I've never seen them 100,000 unless I was pregnant with my daughter. Like, I was great. Technically, I guess that's considered remission, but as soon as she came out, that thing went right back down. So a normal platelet range is between 150 to 400,000. Mine hangs out around 50. That's fine. It's not horrible. But when I am not doing that well, it's usually 30 or below. I've had it go as low, on record, I should say, as low as 14,000, which is not good. I didn't even know that I wasn't doing good. Like, sometimes I get signals and sometimes I don't. If you see me bruised up, it has nothing to do with nothing other than I have a bleeding disorder. If you see me with like red spots, if you were to see me with like red freckles down my neck, it's not a hickey. It's just my blood vessels are bursting. And that sounds like a bit much, but it's just literally the truth. It's weird. My daughter the other day, Mommy, you got something on your back. I was like, it's been a long time. I guess it's okay. So I went and saw my doctor. Everything was fine. But I do go and get my labs checked like literally every week. I'm at least going to a doctor once a week. It's not fun, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So that's what I've been doing. That's normal for us at this point. It is what it is. So I have been seeing a doctor that has been treating me. I've been getting IVIG. It's really the only thing that really works. I have gone from like 30,000 all the way up to about 200,000 platelets, which is fantabulous. I've never, ever, ever had my platelets that high on record. So it's just crazy. But yeah, I'm going to keep saying how amazing my doctor is, because he really is. And I'm so thankful for him, because we live in peace with my disorder instead of fear, It's really nice. So I'm 23 weeks pregnant. I'm having a boy. And around week 10, I started bleeding. And I was in pain. We were at the zoo with my husband's cousin, his wife, his kid, like outdoor zoo. We're just hanging out. It was bad. It was really bad. I couldn't leave the bathroom. I was like trying not to cry. And I've gotten so used to bleeding. It's just normal at this point. I kind of noticed myself like kind of normalizing it, but my husband's cousin's wife, so my cousin-in-law, I guess, whatever, my girl, she's pregnant too. And as soon as she caught wind that I was bleeding, she was like, I am gonna take your baby and you are gonna go get checked. Like, go. Just go. Don't even, nope, go. And I was just like, yeah, but like, what is happening? Because I had a normal morning. So it was just so out of the ordinary. Just woke up and just like kind of was spotting, and I was just like, maybe it's nothing. You know, I don't know why. I guess like we all deal with panic differently, and I feel like it was just a silent panic, a wishful thinking panic. I was just like, nah, it's okay. It was bad. I could hardly move. Go to an emergency room. It's full of people, guys, and this is like October, November of 2020. So it's COVID season. This is a big hospital. People go here. Like, it's not some little small thing. So I get checked. They tell me it's like a threatened pregnancy. Like, you might lose the baby, you might not. I was like, oh, okay, thanks. It's good to know. We were like, what? My placenta had a hole in it, so it was bleeding, but I also had like the worst UTI in the world. Literally the worst UTI in the world. It literally came in the morning, and I don't know if it had anything to do with the bleeding I was about to have, if like there was just something going wrong. It was crazy. And I mean, I'm only 10 weeks pregnant. You gotta imagine, like, I've been excited for a month. You know, we planned to have this baby. We tried for like 3 months. Month 3, we're finally pregnant. And then like 2 months later, I'm bleeding. It was before I even got to see my OB. I go to see my OB. She's like, I need you to establish care, especially just because of your blood disorder. I need you to establish care with a maternal fetal specialist. I think that's what they're called. A high risk OB, basically. And so I was like, okay, I guess this is kind of scary. So I went. The high risk OB got me in pretty quick, honestly. And he did a ultrasound, and he was like, we don't even see the hole anymore. I think it's fine. At this point, I'm like not bleeding anymore. We're okay. So fast forward, kind of like maybe a month later. So I'm about heading into my 3rd month. I am like bleeding once a week. And I'm just brushing it off because I know if I've had a hole in my placenta before, maybe that's just what it is. You know, I just brushed it off. And I told the doctor, he's like, it's okay. My regular OB, yeah, we're gonna stop going there. But she's not very concerned about anything. My high risk OB though, he's got the great machines and stuff. Whatever, he's checking me out, I'm fine. The baby's fine, the baby's growing good. Every time I go and try to get checked because I'm bleeding, like if it gets bad, they check the baby's heartbeat, they check the baby. They're like, girl, you good, it's okay. I don't know what's happening, but you know, you're fine-ish, question mark, whatever. My high risk OB is like, look, as long as you're not like bleeding a lot and there's like no like big red flags, you know, if you don't see anything that's like too concerning, if you're not like in pain, you're probably okay. Like, we expect you to kind of bleed a little bit, and especially, you know, with the blood disorder, and they just keep sweeping it under the rug as my blood disorder. But I wasn't bleeding bad. It would be like one time, just bleeding, just that's it. One time, once a week, one time during that whole day. Like, never happened. So it was easier to brush off. This past week, I started seeing clots. Not big ones. I'm not bleeding a lot. Like, what the heck is going on? So I have a doctor's appointment on Tuesday. On Monday, I do my labs. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do my labs, and I'm gonna just see, you know, if my labs are good, then there's something wrong. If my labs are bad, then maybe it's my bleeding disorder. Like, and that's fine, but you know, that will give me some clarity. Actually, I said that wrong. My OB appointment was on Thursday. My blood doctor was on Tuesday. I speak to my blood doctor. My platelets are at 84,000. I'm like, yes, baby boy, you got me doing good. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we're all right, you know? But then I have this concern in the back of my head, but I wasn't clotting the whole time. It was like I would bleed once a day, and the most recent 2 days I had seen small clots. So I was like, well, I'm gonna go see my OB on Thursday. It's gonna be great. Like, it's gonna be fine, whatever. So I talked to my doctor and I'm like, they keep trying to tell me it's because of my blood disorder, but I know 84,000 is great. I'm happy. Like, if I went into preterm labor, like, it wouldn't be bad on the part of my blood disorder. So he's like, yeah, totally agree. I told him I'm like considering switching my doctors, you know, whatever. And so I go to my OB. Honey, I tell her I'm bleeding. I've been bleeding 4 out of the past 7 days. She was like, oh, have you scheduled your next appointment? I'll schedule it for you. Okay. See you in 4 weeks. Literally, she said something else before then, but it's kind of TMI. She said something inappropriate. If I have to see her again, we're gonna have a little talk about what she said and what's going on right now, because you'll understand more later. You're gonna want to say something to her too. So she brushed it off, and I told my husband, I was like, look, if I start bleeding, I'm just gonna go and get checked. Like, I'm so stressed out. Like, just stuff has just been piling on. I mean, like, I'm already pregnant. I haven't even felt like I've been enjoying it, just because I'm constantly freaking out. I'm like scared. Something is going to go wrong, and it's already going wrong, and it's being ignored. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was so frustrated. I probably cried like twice that day. Like, and I know I've been like stressing my mom out. My mom doesn't live close by, so like she can't just like come over and just be like, oh, well, let me just play with your hair, you know, make you feel better, spend some time with you guys, give you a break, whatever, like, you know, the normal grandma stuff. No, it's just been like rough. So I start bleeding again, literally like, I don't know if it was the same day or the next day. And I'm like, there's no way in this world I'm going to a hospital where she's at. I'm not. She's not going to see me. I'm not going to see her, because at this point, you've literally completely ignored my concerns. I should have called my high-risk doctor, but he still would have sent me to the emergency room. They've done this before. I've already been to the emergency room 3 separate times, other than this time I'm about to tell you about. So I'm on my way. I'm praying. I'm like, Lord, I need some answers, because you already know how frustrated I am. You know, you just know. You know, I don't even have to say it. I know you know. Like, this is a lot. And I'm sure, like, I'm stressing you out too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been crazy. And I just need some peace, some comfort, and somebody that cares. Like, I need these doctors, these nurses. I need somebody to come and advocate with me if the doctor doesn't care, because this is ridiculous. I walk in this hospital. They take me right upstairs to labor and delivery. I walk in, or not walked in, I got wheeled in actually. I'm like, oh, royal treatment. Come on, Lord. This is exactly what I was asking for. So they go and they take me to a room. I tell the nurse, I'm like, girl, let me tell you, this has been bad. It's just been bad. And I keep brushing it off, and I keep feeling like, oh, well, I'm not bleeding that bad. It's not that bad, you know? Yeah, I'm sick of it. I was just so fed up. Like, I just completely vented about the whole situation. She was like, look, I can't guarantee we're going to give you perfect care, but we're going to do our best. Like, I'm going to talk to the doctor. I'm going to let him know, and we're going to try to help you. So funny thing is that the girl reminds me of my friend from back home. Not back home. Well, my home, kind of. Don't get offended. North Carolina. If you my friend or my family from back home and you got mad that I just called North Carolina home, it's my adult home, you know? So she reminds me of my friend Maria. And so that was really comforting. They like similar personality types. She kind of looked a little bit like her too. Not too much, but so yeah, that girl was freaking awesome. So I told her, the doctor comes in. Why he look like one of my old church leaders? I was like, okay, God. So like, just like really comforting feeling, just like him looking like somebody that I know and I love. So I got like my North Carolina people right here about to help me out. And the doctor was like, as soon as you said blood clot, you're supposed to perk up as a doctor because that means something's wrong. Like they should be fishing to find what's wrong. Why I left within like 2 hours, like consistently being seen, like people were like in and out of the room, whatever. They're like, girl, we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna check your blood, make sure your blood is good, and we're gonna do an ultrasound. They did have to go inside for an ultrasound, which is all my doctor needed to do. Any doctor, the doctors that I've seen at the other local hospitals, that's all they had to do. And they would have found out that I have placenta previa, which is like some rare thing where your placenta is like either covering your cervix or super close and it makes you bleed. So little did I know, I was just touching little pieces of my placenta. So I went from like being high risk. My doctor had me on pelvic rest. She's just like, just don't overdo it, whatever. Cool. Your girl's on bed rest now to try to keep me from bleeding. There's a whole bunch of risks. I don't even want to get into it because it stresses me out. You can look it up. Again, placenta previa. I'm pretty sure I'm saying it right, but I don't know. But yeah, low-lying placenta. They had told me in the beginning my placenta was in the front. I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird, but whatever. No, it's like down there. It's like down there. Like as soon as they went in to check, it was there. And they walked in and they were like, girl, how did they not check you and find this problem? I don't know. And, I got to a point where I was so fed up with my regular OB, I didn't even want to say anything. I still don't want to say anything. And I might have to go see her tomorrow. Pray for me. I don't know how that's going to go. But yeah, so my placenta is just hanging down there. My baby is breached. So he's standing up and he's like actively kicking. I feel like if he were upside down already, then his head would be resting and maybe that would apply pressure, but it's not kicks. Like he's been kicking me. I can feel when this is happening, like when I'm gonna bleed, because I'll be like standing up washing the dishes and my stomach feels like it's weighing down and then I start to feel like he's about to come out. It's super weird. Like I feel like his kicks are gonna like come out of, the downstairs region and it's not fun. So I kept telling them like, I know association is not causation or however you say that. I know what it is, but I just can't think of it. So I know you can't just say that just because something happens means that this is the reason. But I mean, like it was super coincidental every time. Like if I'm washing a lot of dishes and I like meal prepped and cooked dinner and cooked lunch and I'm washing dishes, literally I could feel that pressure and in the morning I would bleed, at least by the morning. It could be before, whatever. But I would know, and I knew there was something wrong. And I'm so angry that it took so long because I did research and it says that they're supposed to tell you between 16 and 20 weeks. My OB should have checked me. My high-risk OB should have checked me because I kept telling I was bleeding, but it wasn't that bad, so I'm not really like mad at them. But they were supposed to be able to tell at the anatomy scan. They didn't. Why? I don't know. The hospitals that I went to 3 different hospitals before anybody decided to stick a wand up my hoo-ha to go and check. Like, what the heck? So I say all that to say, when something is wrong and when you need to go check and when something doesn't feel right and you keep getting no's or you keep getting it's just fine and when it's not fine. And I care more that some baby, my baby is, being put at risk here because nobody wants to listen to me. They're taking me like I'm just this little girl that just doesn't care. Like I'm willingly having this child. We want this child. Like we've been wanting this child. My husband has been asking me for this child for like a year. Okay. Like, this is not a joke. I'm not just some little girl. Don't take me as a little girl. I'm a mature adult and I care about this baby. Like, I don't even want to go into it because this is probably what I would be saying to assist in the OB office. But yeah, and to top it off, this OB came so highly recommended. We still can't figure out why, but I'm just like, maybe this just isn't her avenue. This isn't her like situation that she does well in. Maybe she just does well in good pregnancies, but no. So I just want to let you know, self-advocate. If something is wrong and you got to go to every hospital that you know of, go. Seriously, especially if you're pregnant. Like, I wasn't taking it serious the first time. I mean, I've been taking it serious because obviously I've gone to like 3 different hospitals already for bleeding. I care and I go and I get checked, but I'm just like, if they say like they don't know, they don't know. But once I saw the clots, I knew. I just knew. I was like, no, just no. This just keeps happening. It doesn't stop. So yeah, advocate for yourself. Switch your doctor. Like, if you have health insurance and it's not going to kill you to spend money, if you have to spend money on like copays and stuff, if it's not going to kill you to go and see somewhere else, like, I could have just been putting my baby at risk all this time just walking around and doing stuff. I feel guilty all the time that I don't do a lot because when my body tells me to stop, I stop. And my husband's been overcompensating and like, you know, for my insufficiencies, which now is kind of just like, wow, thank God that I've been listening to my body and, you know, taking breaks and just hanging out, because can you imagine? Like, oh my goodness. So anywho, I just want to tell y'all, advocate for yourself. Seriously, if you don't have the courage to speak up for yourself, take somebody with you to the doctors that don't got no issue, you know, getting snappy with somebody, because it's your health and it's important. And hindsight is 2020. I'm not tolerating any of this I don't even know how to explain it. It's just inferior to what should be getting delivered. Like, a basic doctor should never do what's been being done in this situation. Like, I just worked myself up again. But I just wanted to let y'all know, keep y'all in the loop. When I find out more things about this situation, I will maybe do an update. If I get like hospitalized or something, maybe I'll do a video while I'm in the hospital or something. I don't know. I'm not praying on it. I'm not hoping for it. I don't want that to happen, but I do know that it's a possibility. So if that does happen, I will try to like continue the story, you know? But yes, self-advocate. Just no. When somebody says that they're not going to check, say, well, then write that down in my chart. Write it down that I told you that I'm bleeding and you don't want to check me. Write it down that I told you to test me for XYZ and you don't want to. Ask for another doctor that works there or something, even if, you know, it's going to ruffle some feathers. I just lost all my patience and I knew that I was down to go somewhere else and I was already planning to get out. So like, once you're already at that mentality, it's kind of just like, what does it even matter at this point? I'm out, you know? But yes, please self-advocate, take care of yourself, be careful. I'm like, high risk pregnancy, high risk for catching COVID because of my, you know, my blood issues and stuff, and just being pregnant anyway. I mean, like, seriously, look out for yourself, because ain't nobody else gonna do it unless you got some crazy people behind you. You know what I'm saying? Some crazy family members that are like, honey. But yes, nobody can advocate for you better than you. You know your body, trust it. So that's all I wanted to say. I'm trying to not make this long. I'm sorry. But yes, so just advocate for yourself. Please, please. We need you here. So I will talk to y'all later. Bye.